Dzień dobry, YouTube. Ivitami to another episode of Atticus Eats. My dear friends, we are back in the vehicle today, and the one and only Hobbit mobile. And my dear friends, I am so thrilled that I get to spend time with you all here once again on the channel. So this is a really interesting dynamic that we have for today's episode of the show. I was driving around, I want to say maybe a week or two ago, and I was looking over, and I was trying to think of, like, okay, different things to eat and different stuff, and I was running errands and stuff at the time, and I looked over, and I go, wait a minute, that's where Fun Burger used to be. It looks almost the same, but it's not. What's different? And then to my learning, after doing some research, I found that Fun Burger is no more. We did an episode where Atticus eats Fun Burger, and shortly thereafter that episode, the staff that worked there were ridiculously nice to me, very kind. In that episode, the food was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. Lots of yummy noises. I tried to go back twice with my mom, and the food was not good. It was really, really bad. Mom almost wanted to vomit because of how the burger tasted. It was not good. And so when we were done after that excursion, we've never been back since. Now seeing that it's changed, this is now the Bullpen Taphouse and Barbecue, or Barbecue and Taphouse, I think is what that title says now. So now it's known as the Bullpen, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe may be a chain of restaurants here in California. And maybe it may not be, I'm not sure. They have the bull wearing a Dodgers-esque baseball jersey, so I'm assuming that's a California thing. But we now are officially, it is no longer Fun Burger, it is the Bullpen. Looking at the menu is totally different now. They do still have, like, burgers and sandwiches, but their presentation therein is totally different. But they also have new stuff that looks really, really good. And so I said to myself, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump on in and see what they got going on today. What I love to see is that the original manager that was here when it was Fun Burger, who was, again, so incredibly kind to me when I came here, she's still the manager, so the purchasing company kept her on as a manager, and actually her daughter works there now, and I love hearing that, I love seeing that, because, again, family-run business, right? Making it feel like a family business, even though you've got more professionalism, air quote, that may be associated with a chain. But what I also love, too, is that the family who bought this and made it a chain, they're Christians. And they have 1 Corinthians up on the wall, which you guys saw in that B-roll footage. They've got American flags everywhere. They've got country music playing. I love the sign that was above the grill, above the cash registers as well, which you guys saw. Let's bring back common sense. Yeah, no kidding. It's not very common anymore. But my dear friends, I always love that. I love supporting good people. And again, the quality of the food really slacked off with this previous owner. And so now, going in, and it seems like they've really made everything nice and tight and the way it's supposed to be, I'm hoping to see that this food is going to be particularly good. What food are we having today, you may ask? Well, my dear friends, to celebrate the change of the season, as of today, time of recording, today is September 22nd, the very first day of autumn, which you all know is my favorite season of the year. I immediately feel super rejuvenated. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. And even though it's California and it's not dipping down into the more cool temperatures just yet, I want to celebrate with a very good autumnal treat. And that is going to be the Bullpen's signature house barbecue chili. And I was asking, what do you have that's more tender of a meat that we can put in? And she recommended me brisket. So we have got the brisket going on today in this chili. I'm gonna put a napkin on me so that way I don't spill all over my pants. I've got my ultra thin, won't even stand up to a mouse sneeze napkin, but it should be fine. We'll go ahead and bust open the spoonage and we're gonna go ahead and have ourselves a feast. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here with you all once again, trying something new, air quote. It's kind of like changed and new, and it's cool to be able to have a reference to something from before that. Again, if the video was decent but then ended up not being super decent after that, my spoon was sitting in the sun and it's black, and so it was absorbing all the heat. I'm only gently scalding myself right now. But yeah, to be able to try something new, and especially something cool like a good chili. And I noticed too, in the last episode of Atticus Eats, you all were being very excited about autumn coming up yourselves for this very same reason, in that you're wanting to be able to make chili and like stews and soups and all different sorts of things like that. So we've got beans, tomatoes, onions, peppers, all the chili stuff. It looks like we got some cheese here too. It looks like it's piping hot though, so we're gonna give it a hot minute. But my dear friends, what kind of chili do you like? Is chili a big thing where you are? I'm sure a lot of the Southerners are gonna be like, yeah! And what kind of chili do you like? And what do you like to put in said chili? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm not super big on red meat, but I wanted to go with more of a barbecue thing because of the theme of this restaurant. And, only thing, now this is a decent sized cup, don't get me wrong, but only thing is this cup of chili and a lemonade, which I'll show inevitably here shortly, was $14 and change. Maybe that's because I put the tri-tip in. Maybe if I hadn't, it would be cheaper. But Nezdorovia, cool people. Chili time! Let's do an instant replay. Okay. My friends, this screams autumnal in 3 languages. This right here, I was so scared about taking a bite and tasting that straight kerosene chemical taste, which is inevitably actually what the problem was before when Mom and I tried to come here on our own. I am not getting that at all. You guys, this is a rich, bassy, flavorful chili flavor. Not too spicy at all, just straight warm, like hug for your soul level of chili. And the meat, the girl was right, and she did listen to me. Meat is ultra tender. Very delectable. Very nice. The cheese is real. Very nice cup of chili right here. Holy cow. Literally, since cow is a part of this. Little bit of bark on the brisket to give it just that slight textural change. Dude. What I like too is how they mix this. It's not like an overabundance of onion where it overpowers everything. This is so, this is so delectable, tasty, and delicious good. There we go, you should be able to see it there. Only thing that would make this better, you guys, would be, a big chunk of sourdough bread with butter. Or, like, their French fries. I almost got their French fries, but I was asking them if they have a side size of fries, because on their menu, all they talk about are the big shareable sizes. And I didn't want to have to get anything that big, so I opted to not overeat and overspend with that. But wow. Wow. This is insanely good. insanely hearty and delicious. Again, without being too spicy at all. I think the bullpen has a chance, you guys. I'm not just saying that either. I think the bullpen's got a chance. Lemonade. The spice level definitely, and I think this is true of most chilies, it hits you on the rebound, right? The more that you're eating, the more that it kind of builds up in your mouth and in your throat. And you kind of, before you know it, you're like, hold on. I've got some drainage going on in the nostril region, right? And you have to navigate it from that point. But man, no, that was pretty decent for what it is. Here's the thing, you guys. I have been spoiled rotten when it comes to chili, because my mom, all through my life, has made homemade chili with and without meat. And when she gets her ingredients together, which include but are not limited to her own homegrown peppers, her own homegrown tomatoes, her own homegrown onions, and then she gets the spices and the beans and the meats, and will make chili. My mom's chili is the kind of chili where, like, I'll ask for seconds in the same dinner. There's only a handful of recipes, foods, that my mom and I both will make, and you guys know that my mom's cooking is extraordinary, where I'll ask for seconds at the dinner table for the first dinner of it, right? My mom's chili is one of them, and again, we would complement it with a side of sourdough bread with some margarine on it, and it just feeds your soul. This chili does not compare to Mama Debbie's chili. I am gonna say that. As I'm sitting here and as I was eating it, you know, this is my taste, this is my preference. They make hearty chili. And that's what this is. This is a good hearty chili in that you definitely got some really good tender brisket meat. Very flavorful. It's not reeking of a kerosene grilled flavor to achieve a bark. I think someone just parked right next to us. And then in addition to that, you don't have things that are like giant chunks of onion or a whole third of a tomato that you're having to bite and fight as you're eating, right? I'm thankful for that, because I don't need to debris my food as I'm eating it. That's always annoying. And there's some places that will do that, whether it be with soups or stews or chilies or something like that, right? However, this chili, I got about halfway through it, was really good for what it is, especially now I'm hungry, I'm out, it's an errand day, I'm wanting to spend time with you all. But it's definitely not something that I would get again. So, because of that, I am gonna underrate it just slightly, where the chili itself, I'm gonna give a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10. Now, if I were to get the same chili again, but change the meat option, maybe, like, just kind of go with the veggie option of just the beans and the stuff that makes it chili, it might be a higher rating. Because again, you're needing to chew a lot to get through. Not really, but it's a heavy meat. Red meat is always a heavier meat than poultry, and I've explained previously that I'm more partial to poultry these days, or fish, as opposed to red meat. But for trying this, I do not regret trying this at all. I do not regret showcasing Bullpen to you guys, especially with how sweet and kind the staff continue to be. It is a Christian-run business now, which I absolutely love, and we need more of that in the world. And being able to get just a nice hot cup of chili and celebrate autumn with you guys, immense, immense, immense blessing. What a really cool time. That definitely filled me, even with just the half that I got. On that note, friends, as always, please be sure to check the links in the description box below. The link to my Twitch channel, where I go live on Twitch 3 days a week, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As time goes on, we continue to explore new story-driven games and games that I enjoy. And with October now looming, we have plenty of new games on the horizon that we'll be able to enjoy and experience as the beautiful season of autumn progresses. Also, please be sure to check out the link to my Cameo channel. If you have a loved one, or even for yourself that you want to give a personalized video shout out to, please consider booking me on Cameo. It goes a long way in supporting the work that I do here on my YouTube channel as well as my Twitch channel, and I love knowing that I can make your celebrations extra special. So please be sure to book me down below. It would mean the world to me. And with that, my friends, we'll wrap out today's video with an excellent question from the YouTube comment section. This was asked a while ago, and I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I actually answered this young person in the comment section. I responded to them in detail because I was wanting to address them specifically. But I wanted to be able to, especially knowing the season that we're in, I wanted to be able to kind of turn it into more of a generic answer, but one that I can share with all of you. So this question is posed by by Squid Plays, that was a SpongeBob reference, Squid Plays 7352 on YouTube. And they ask, Atticus, I'm 21 and trying to get my first job. Do you have any advice? Excellent, excellent, excellent question. And I definitely went the path of advising him in a more specific way. That was more personal. I wanted him to know he was being heard. And then kind of just had a discussion with him in the comment section. And again, this was probably a good month and a half ago. I think what I want to bring to y'all's attention as I'm answering this question is that we live in a society today here in America with a lot of people who are just completely and utterly unwilling to work at all. And that is one of the most detrimental things that has occurred in my generation and in the upcoming generations. I have a friend, I won't say his name, but he's my childhood friend. And he is 28 years old. He's been attending college since he was 18. And he has never worked a job, ever. Lives at home with his parents, does not contribute. And there's issues there with the parents. So, I'm not totally ragging on him. All this time being at college, he has not earned a degree at all. And he has been telling me for the past 3 years he's close to earning his bachelor's degree. For the past 3 years of a 10-year college career. He is trapped in a cycle of unproductivity, in my opinion. And again, there's issues to that are multifaceted. He expresses to me, well, I don't want to work a job unless I'm working a job that I feel pays me what I'm worth. So-and-so, I almost said his name, so-and-so, your worth is exactly nothing. Because you have no real-world life experience, you've never worked a job, you've never paid taxes. What exactly are you worth? It's almost like he's using a job the way that, like, unrealistic people are in dating. Well, I deserve someone who's 6'10", cut like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and, makes 6 figures a year. But, sweetheart, you're a walking oxymoron because you weigh 600 pounds and wear athletic wear. You have to have some semblance of earning what you hope for, but then reality as well. That's kind of, I'm venting. Hopefully this is cathartic for some of you. Long and the short of it, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because what I cannot encourage you all the most is that college, and I was told this by directors on set who knew that I wanted to continue some semblance of a creative career. Every single one of them told me, whatever you do, don't go to film school. It's a waste of time and money, and you, Atticus, are learning more being on this set and just talking with everybody and learning and observing than you will ever learn going to film school. I would like to take that and extend it into, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer, college is a debt machine, and quite frankly, they're places of radicalization now. They don't teach you anything pertaining to the real world. They are not centers of higher education. And just because you get a piece of paper that says you're smart does not mean that you are. I know, because my dad is one of those people. Bearing this in mind, character, the character of you as a person, is going to far outweigh any credential that you may pay to receive. Being able to work a job, especially a job that maybe you don't enjoy, but it's a good job with good pay, and being devoted to that and having a work ethic, that is what is going to take you far in life. And this doesn't matter what age you are, nor your gender. Being able to get out, and it doesn't even matter if your first job is being a bagger at a grocery store, a barista at Starbucks, or a burger microwaver at McDonald's. If you have a schedule, you take responsibility for your time, you work well, and you learn people skills. How do I be kind to people? How do I be cordial to people? How do I interact with people? Not only customers, but also fellow members of my workforce. How do I contend with the people-on-people situations that will inevitably come up in those environments? And then you're earning your pay. You're not taking an easy route. You're earning your pay, and then with that pay, you become responsible with it, whether it be paying bills or rent or a car payment, and then also ensuring that you set aside for stuff that you want. That's maybe more of the joy stuff. I want that night out at the movies, or I want to go enjoy this nice dinner, or I want to get this new video game, book, magazine, whatever. Budgeting. These are the real world skills that too many people in the West are lacking, and they used to be commonplace. I would also dare say these are skills that should not only be taught at school, but at the home. So whether or not you're in public school, your parents' responsibility is to teach you this stuff, and if they don't know, their butt should be learning, even if they're 30, 40, 50 years old. And then pass it down to you to ensure that you have a better outcome than they did. So, again, this is not necessarily answering the question of, do you have any advice? I already advised this person on a specific conversation, which I want to respect. But for all of you, there can be demeaning work in the world. There can be. That's real. There are definitely jobs that I personally would never want to have to work personally. However, that doesn't mean that I don't ever work any job at all, especially if it's in conflict with some pipe dream that I may have because I'm young. You need to make worth and earn interest in yourself by working and doing well with work. Not to the point where work becomes your identity, but in such a way where now you grow as a person, because only real world experience is going to do that. Not what some schmuck is teaching you in Acting 101 at some film school in a seedy part of town. And this is true for no matter what job you have, by the way. My friends, Squid Plays, thank you very much for that amazing question. That was an excellent question. Friends, I greatly, greatly appreciate you all so incredibly much. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Quick question for you. Speaking of chili, a classic chili that I remember all through my life was Wendy's chili. Should we make a return to Wendy's and get some other chili to try and kind of pit it up against this one? Let me know. I'm curious to find out. Anyways, y'all, you're awesome. God bless. See you in the next one. Dope it's in ya.
I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the wayside.